reach. And now I'm known for that content, so it doesn't really make much sense to try and expand. Alright. Okay. So look at the other stuff. How often do you play RPGs, like as in pen and paper role-playing games, and what kind of characters do you like to create? Never. Simple as that. I don't do it. The only time I do it is on roleplay. I don't play pen and papers ever. There's no environment where I can do that. Who would I play with on a regular basis? I can play board games with guys over in LA when I go over there, but outside of that, don't do it. So, yeah. Sorry. If you were hoping for recommendations, I'm afraid I can't provide them because I don't play pen and paper role-playing games. Not my thing, for the most part. I'd much prefer board and card. The only reason I'm really playing with those guys is because it's a unique opportunity. And they're fun to play with. It's a good universe too, of course. Okay. If you could do what you do in a black box, where you continue to make videos and make income from your videos, but never had to hear directly from your community, but could also not address them correctly, would you do it? Probably. I'm going to be honest, I kind of would. Because, really, I don't deal well with the community. This is kind of my fault. I don't blame the community for it. I think every viewer base is the same in the sense that they can be really annoying sometimes, but also really supportive sometimes. But I'm the kind of person that really focuses on the negative, so one negative complaint can really get me down in a way that 100 compliments will not lift me back up again. And that's a really bad character flaw, so for me, it would probably make the most sense to just black box myself and not interact. Because it doesn't help in any way, I think. Not for me. There are others that deal really well with their respective fan bases, and I'm not one of those people. So, to me, sealing myself off from all that stuff would be really helpful because it would hurt less people, it would be more PR friendly. And really, we do videos on the basis of statistics more so than anything else. We look at viewer trends, and that's how we figure out what to do more of. We don't really look at feedback directly because even though it can be pretty useful, it's like you're hearing from a small group of people out of hundreds of thousands of people that watch your videos. You don't know how accurate that information is. Someone saying, I don't like this video, is not really valuable feedback if there's 100,000 views on the video. So, hey. Yeah, probably would. I know, it sounds sucky, and obviously what I'm doing right now would not happen anymore, but I am a really, really flawed person when it comes to dealing with people online. You know? Which is weird, because I'm absolutely fine in real life, you know, the friendliest guy I could possibly ask for, but online, I'm just a dickhead. So, probably be best if I sealed myself off from that. Alright. The console's just released. How do you feel about exclusives? Are they a good thing? I'm pretty much I've talked about this quite a lot before, but exclusives are generally not a good thing, obviously, because I don't get to play them more often than not. I think that the fact of the matter is you should be able to play whatever game on whatever platform, and that should be up to you. And people shouldn't necessarily be forced to buy multiple consoles in order to play the games that they want to play. But I also understand it's a reality of the industry, and really with consoles the way that they are, you can't really do much with that. I don't see a way around it. I know console devs are okay with it, but developers don't like the games being exclusive either. They want as many people as possible to play them. I think the ideal scenario is that only devs owned by the big console manufacturers would actually make exclusives, and everyone else goes multi-platform. And I think we'll see a lot more of that going forward in the next couple of years. Like, the launch windows are not really indicative of anything, because that's the time when the console manufacturers spend big money. God, my nose is so itchy. God damn it. That's when they spend their big money to get those exclusives to actually sell units. And if they're not doing that, then they're not going to sell units. Simple as that. It's an industry reality. It happens every time. I'm afraid it happens every time. A moment. I assume you did not want to hear me blow my nose. Alright, let us continue. TB, I work 70, 80-hour weeks, can't afford to waste my leisure time on bad games. Any chance you might make a games everyone needs to play video for those who have so little free time? Pretty sure that's called my top 10. I already do that kind of every year. But I will say, especially if you've got limited time, play Bastion, play Brothers, play Journey. Simple as that. Really is. Really is as simple as that. But no, I mean, I'd say my top 10 videos are probably pretty good for that. I don't think necessarily it makes a lot of sense to make a bunch of videos about really short games, and a lot of those short games are not necessarily all that good, but it seems like a lot of the really, really good ones, like the ones that end up being my favorites of the year, are actually quite short. And they're just like really nice, closed experiences in and of themselves. And I think that's what happens when you don't necessarily go for length. You can just take as much time as you need to make whatever you want to make, and you just have to stick to that. You don't have to necessarily artificially extend your game for no apparent reason. Alright, let us keep going on. Now that some time has passed, how do you think turning off YouTube comments has affected channel views? It hasn't, from what I can tell. There seems to have been no reduction whatsoever. So, yeah. Hard to really argue with it. They may get turned back on eventually. I still think that you should have the ability to disable links, and I know you can do it with a bunch of filters, but they're not necessarily reliable. So that, to me, is not something that I really want to subject people to, and honestly, YouTube comments kind of sucked anyway. So I don't know if they're going to be any better. I was reading the comments for the Chivalry Rumble Zone, and they were all really bad as well. Like, there was a lot of salt there, there was a lot of whining. I'm just like, I can't be arsed. God damn it, I could be dead in 10 years. I can't be fucking arsed with this shit. Just don't. So, you know, why would I even turn them back on, you know, in that kind of situation? I think maybe it's just because I look at the new comments. The top comments are generally pretty good. If we go to Rumble Zone right now, it's... Oh, no, they're terrible too. So, the third top comment is for the Chivalry final match. That was pretty much bullshit. Really? Okay, I thought we just outplayed them, but alright. Yeah. There's a lot of that. A lot of that going on. Which is unfortunate. It's like, that guy could shut the fuck up. You know? That was bullshit. Tryhards. You know, and all this stuff. I was like, God, I don't have time for this bullshit. Why would I want that? You know, why would I want to even open an avenue for that? Who wants that? You gotta understand from a content creator standpoint that we read way more comments than you do, and we see, like, the overall view of it. And it's just like, this is horrible. Oh, it's just, oh. I hate it so much. Oh, why would I subject myself to it? Especially when I'm really, really bad at dealing with that stuff anyway. So, I don't know. It might get turned on in the future, but I don't know that. Thinking about it. Okay. Are there any MMOs that are coming up that you're looking forward to? Not really. I think nothing actually springs to mind. I'm definitely not looking forward to Elder Scrolls Online. What I played at PAX this year was pretty disappointing. Wasn't really impressed by it. It was mostly, it was like, we're really trying to be Skyrim, but we're a really bad version of it with multiplayer. That was the real problem that I had with it. Even like going to the first-person view, everything was just really low res, and it didn't have the same kind of fidelity and attention to detail that was in something like Skyrim. And it was, as a result, pretty hard to actually get enthused for something like that. And that's what really disappointed me. So I was hoping that that wouldn't actually be the case, but it kind of ended up being the case regardless. So that was a bit unfortunate, I think. Ooh, Crank's doing pretty well against innovation here. This is looking pretty good. This is looking pretty good. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe he gets him, maybe he doesn't. Things are looking all right on this. Big 2-base blink all in. Whatever you need to do in a team league, Crank. Go take him out. Get rid of him. Time for you to represent. Alright. Let us continue. See what else we've got. Have you seen anything to do with Ace Combat Infinite and its free-to-play model? I have not, but generally speaking, Namco Bandai's maybe not the best people to be trusting with free-to-play, honestly. It's really... they haven't had too good a reputation with the microtransactions for previous Ace Combat games, so I'm not necessarily hopeful about it. I did just see the first mission. It looks a lot like Ace Combat 6, which is good. If it's like Ace Combat 6, that'll be fine. If it's like Assault Horizon, it won't be. So, we'll see how that goes. I will play it regardless. It's an Ace Combat game. I play all of them. Definitely a series I really enjoy. One of the only series that'll actively go up my way to play on a console as well. So, never mind. Alright, let us continue. through the list. Ah, there we go. You've said on the podcast that there's been a lot of really good music in games recently. Can the music of a game carry it alone? How important do you think the good sound assets are compared to good visuals and gameplay? For a lot of people, I think it's going to be less important. For me, it's more important because I really enjoy listening to sound assets and listening to really cool music from video games. So, to me, it's more important than graphical fidelity. But I know for a lot of people that's not true, because they just turn the music off and they play their own music. Can it carry a game on its own? No, it can't. Absolutely not. A good soundtrack is not going to make a game any better. I'm a mechanics-focused gamer. You can have the best soundtrack in the world. Your game can suck, and I'll listen to your soundtrack on my Winamp, and that'll be it. I just won't play your game. So, unless you want to sell a soundtrack, which, hey, I'll buy a soundtrack for $5, but I won't pay $10 for your game if it's terrible, so... Yeah, it does not carry it at all. It is the icing on the cake. It's something that really accentuates very well an already solid concept that can actually elevate it to being truly great. So, I'm hoping that that ends up being the case with a lot of games in the future. But it probably won't be. What would you enjoy watching that doesn't seem to exist on YouTube? Some more tabletop stuff that's really good would be nice. Right now, obviously, tabletop's really, really nice. It's a lot of fun, but I'd love to see more board game stuff. There are a couple of other channels that do it, but obviously not as well as tabletop. What else? I don't know. I don't actually watch that much YouTube. I'm going to be totally honest. Let's look at my YouTube history and see what I actually watched lately. So, obviously the Rumble Zone stuff, because I want to see the other side. Some music. James Too Good Harding in a nutshell. More music. Occasional little Hearthstone clips. The extended series with In Control. Nothing. Apparently I don't watch anything on YouTube. Like, it's mostly just StarCraft clips, I think, for the most part. And occasionally I'll watch stuff by Boogie, of course. Also, apparently Chris has been on my YouTube because I'm noticing an awful lot of Elise videos here. And I did not watch those. So he's been watching Elise. Okay. Not necessarily blame him, but regardless. Yeah, that's about it, really. I don't think there's necessarily anything else that I want to see. What would be nice, of course, is just to see more good stuff. And we don't have that much, you know. Good critique, really fun stuff from people like Boogie, from people like Campster. Mr. B-Tongue needs to make some more bloody videos, I'll tell you that for a fact. He made some phenomenal videos, and then just didn't for ages. Tastefully understated nerd rage is really, really good. The last video he uploaded was 6 months ago. Never mind. Never mind. Let's continue. What games, in your opinion, would benefit from FOV sliders? You know, I hate that joke the most out of, like, anything that people have come up with. I think, like, people are just so desperate to grab onto some kind of fucking meme or catchphrase that they found whatever they could. And since I don't really have one, it was like, FOV sliders. It's like, yeah, it's a really serious issue for a lot of people, myself included. It makes people really feel motion sick, and obviously for competitive play, not having a field of view slider for an FPS is fucking terrible. Like, if I can't play a game because a basic feature hasn't been put into it, and that game makes me feel sick, that makes me feel very annoyed. And I'm not the only person to do it, so any FPS should get one. Third-person shooters should probably have one, but for the most part, it's FPS. No, nothing else really needs it. Like, you don't have to have it in a driving sim or anything like that necessarily. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't find the joke funny at all. Do you think games are art? That's not a question. Pretty much fucking anything's art. I'm sorry, but if an unmade bed can be art, then fucking games are art. If a pile of bricks is art, then this is fucking art. Art is the most meaningless term ever. Art sucks in general. It's like, who cares? Who cares if it's art? All that it matters is that it's entertaining, it affects people in some way. You know, it's a valid form of media. That's it. That's all that matters. You can call it art, you can call it games, you can call it whatever the hell you please. But it being art doesn't affect anything ever in the world ever. So who gives a shit? Simple as that, really. I think the only reason why it keeps coming up like that is because people really are desperate for games to have respect. Like, look, people are eventually going to get over the whole games are for kids and games are for boys and games are causing people to shoot people in malls thing. That's going to go away eventually. We'll get rid of that. But we're not going to get rid of it by calling games art. There's a lot of violent art as well. And art in general is not necessarily respected by the mainstream. Because a lot of it's bullshit. A lot of games are bullshit. So, you know, I guess you want a bit of equivalency there. We're both bullshit, therefore we're both art. How exactly does Twitch work in terms of monetization and streaming and such? Can't say a huge amount about that. All I can say is you run ads, you get paid. Really as simple as that. And, of course, the subscription that is available for some people. It's not really any more complicated than that, honestly. Sound. Getting a lot of weird clicking on that. What's going on with that? Might be just my Winamp being terrible. I don't want to move away from Winamp, but it doesn't get supported anymore. It's a pretty old application. My Winamp just crashed, actually, so yeah, that's not too great. I'm not too happy with that. I might have to move to something else. I've been told that Fubar's pretty good, but I don't know if that is true. It's a bit better. I don't know if it's just me that's hearing the crackling, but it's really annoying. I don't know what's causing it. Next question. Sorry, there's not much else to really say about monetization. You run ads, you get paid. Simple as that. TB, what would you say to someone that has never played or owned StarCraft, knows absolutely nothing about the game, the meta, or the esports scene, but wants to get into the entirety of StarCraft? Well, buying StarCraft helps. Get the starter edition, play a little bit of that, buy the game, play a little bit of that. What else is there to say? There just really isn't all that much to add to that, I think. You know, as long as you enjoy the game, you can watch esports. Even if you don't enjoy the game, you can watch esports. It's not difficult to watch StarCraft, I feel, if it's properly commentated. Yeah. If it's not properly commentated, then that can be an issue for people. But I feel, honestly, it's the kind of thing that a good set of commentators will be able to guide you through quite nicely. And the hype helps. You know, watch a big live event, watch a DreamHack. Obviously, like, they've got a lot of downtime problems, but they have some of the best crowds. Watch a DreamHack, watch a Red Bull LAN. Go watch the whole series of Bomber vs. Scarlet and tell me that's not thrilling, yeah? Even if you don't know that much about the game. It's well explained, it's got two really good commentators that are very newbie-friendly, so give that a try and see how you feel about it. Okay, let us continue. As I am getting a bit tense now because there's a proxy oracle coming in. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. Seize the Marines, right? Yep. Oh, there's a Widowmine there. Oh, the Widowmine! Oh, no. Don't believe you fell for that. Ouch. Definitely saw that one coming. Oh, well, never mind. Continue. Will you be in the Yorkscast stream? Possibly. I did speak to them about it, but I sent them an email a few days ago, didn't get a response. It may happen if I have the time. I don't know if I do, though. It was fun last time, but we'll see. It's just a time thing. You've raised quite a bit of money for charity in the past, a la King of the Web. Do you have any plans for more charity streams in future? Well, we're probably not going to do one this year because it's a little bit late for that now. Plus, obviously, the Yorkscast stream's going on, so maybe something later. I want to see the results. I've actually seen a couple of photos of at least one of the wells that we had dug, so we should be able to show you those quite soon. Once the project is fully complete, then I should be able to show you all of that, and then we can decide what we want to do next. Obviously, I think the fundraising thing's really good, so probably for the same charity, really. I did consider raising it for the EFF, considering the bullshit that's been going around lately. We could really use some backup there. But honestly, I've said this time and again, there's people dying because they don't have enough water on the other side of the planet. It's either that or paying for lawsuits about video game videos. I think one is a little more important than the other. It's the same reason I don't really support Child's Play. It's cool, like, they can raise whatever money they want, but I won't directly support them because I think that money could be better used elsewhere. Let's do another one. This is not going well. We're gonna lose this match by the looks of it. Bad news. Nexus down. Ugh. Ugly. Very ugly. Proxy Oracle failed. Alright, let's look at the next one. It's well established that you've beaten a Warhammer 40k. Have you considered looking at other tabletop games such as War Machine, Malifaux, Infinity, etc.? I don't really have time to build models or paint them. Like, I'm only into the universe of 40k. I don't play the game because I don't have the time. I don't build models. I'm terrible at painting, so there's no real reason for me to do that. I like the look of War Machine, but again, I've got to have someone to play it with on a regular basis. So to me, it doesn't seem like it's worthwhile. It would use a lot of my time, and I don't really have a lot of time to use. So I'm not overly keen on that. Ooh, never mind, actually. So I thought we'd lost this game, but there's some Stalkers now counterattacking, so I don't know, maybe. Maybe not. We might be okay yet. I don't know, this game's got really weird all of a sudden, so hard to keep track of, certainly. Stalkers warping in. Good control by Crank. Really good. God, this is tense. This is really tense. Can he actually come back from a failed Proxy Oracle? That would actually be incredible. There are Marauders now, though, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't have Blink, so... But he is microing really, really well. All credit to him for that. It's a difficult situation for him. He's doing a lot of economic damage. He might be back in this game. So many SCVs dying right now, but... Ooh, this is difficult. This is really difficult. Is that, like, all the SCVs that just went down? Warping some Zealots. Good micro from MMA. I've got to watch the end of this game, guys. This is absolutely tense. Stim's about to finish. Oh, this is bad news. Even if he's done that, this might be really ugly. Do we have a Mothership Core? Don't think he does. I hope he does. Please tell me he has a Mothership Core. Oh, no. Oh, no. There's a drop coming into the base. This could be the end of him. It sucks he's done so well here, but it's difficult. Very difficult. Especially without Blink, to really make that work. Oh, come on, Crank. Come on. Control's really good, even without Blink, but this is really difficult. Where did that medevac go? Did he actually bring that back? No, he dropped in the base. But he only dropped one unit. Oh, Mothership Core just came out. Nice. Okay, he can actually save his ass. Wonder how much economic damage has really been done there. Ooh, missed control with the sentry. Don't lose the Mothership Core. Get him. Get him. Get him. Warp in. Yes, nice, nice, nice. Don't lose the Mothership Core. Sweet, he pushed it back. This game. Oh, man. MMA's drop control is so good, but... If I didn't get rid of that medevac. Photon overcharge, knock it over. Alright, okay, I'll get back to it. Sorry, my heart is in my mouth in this game right now. Okay. When are you going to make a Christmas video? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What Christmas video? Was there an expectation? Like, do you mean a song? Because I know a lot of people have been asking me for that. I don't know. I don't know if I will. I've got so much other stuff to do, and I'm playing such massive catch-up from November. Like, writing a song and recording that is quite a lot of effort, so it might be something I don't do. Oh, damn it. Did you just give up? Don't know why I did that. Oh, I guess Stim was done, so... Oh, well, never mind. Did so much economic damage. I'm really surprised he gave that up. Alright, let's continue. Have we got the time to play Wasteland 2? Nope, I have not. Next few days, I'll be looking to do that. Probably an Alpha Strike on that coming forward. Bear in mind, of course, it's going to be spoiler heavy. That's just the way that it has to be. There's no real way of avoiding that. Is there any chance we might be seeing Adam Sessler on a future podcast? That's really up to Adam. If he's got the time, he's a busy man. Very busy man. Does he have 3 hours of his time to go on someone else's show? Maybe not. But obviously I would love to do that if possible. That would be great. He is a fantastic individual. But I wonder if anyone will get a word in edgeways if that happens. You mentioned that you have to pick one out of every 10 or 20 games to review. We've seen you review both the good and bad games, so how do you decide on whether which games to provide reviews for? Is it based on whether or not it needs a review, whether the games that developers are new, etc.? It's just personal whimsy. Like, there's no criteria, really. I'll often avoid puzzle platformers. I'll, like, do a token one every once in a while, particularly if it looks really interesting. But it's just... It's stuff that I can assess in a decent amount of time. Like, I don't do grand strategy because I don't have the time. Investing 20 hours in a grand strategy to get an opinion versus investing maybe 2 hours in an indie game to get an opinion, it's just business. You just gotta be careful with that. Obviously, AAAs take priority because they get higher views. But aside from that, I'll look for something that is interesting in some way. Even if maybe it's not very good, I'll still look at it anyway. Like Marvel Puzzle Quest, I'm interested in because it's Puzzle Quest. Let's try and break down my opinions from the last, like, 10 WTFs, and let's see why I did these videos. I'm just gonna jump over to my account here. Let's see. Okay. WTFs. Okay, here's the reasons why. So, Marvel Puzzle Quest. Done because I like Puzzle Quest, and a lot of people like Puzzle Quest, and it's the latest iteration in that franchise. Is it gonna be the game that finally gets it back to being really, really good? Yeah? That's why. That's what's in my mind when I go into that game. Race the Sun. Why did I do that? Because, frankly, it kind of deserved the exposure. I got their code ages ago, it finally came out on Steam, and I've been meaning to do it for the longest time, and now I've finally done it. So there's Race the Sun. Nimble Quest. I did this because I already played it on an iPad, which means that it was going to take less time to do a video on, and I already knew the game was pretty good. So it's like, oh, I can crack this out in a fairly short period of time. Speedball 2 HD. I did that because Speedball 2 was one of my favorite games as a kid, and I was looking to see whether or not they improved on it, and I was highly disappointed. We had a bunch of people bitching about that one, saying, why'd you do that? Why did you just do a good game? Speedball 2 was a good game, a very good game. It was one of my favorite games of my childhood, so that dictates an awful lot, you know. It's like if they did something with Deus Ex, like I'd jump on that immediately, obviously, because it's one of my favorites. Elder Sign Omens. I did this because I haven't done too much board and card on the channel lately. Again, I'd already played it on iPad, so I had an idea of how it was going to turn out. And I wanted to see if the PC port was any good, and I also wanted to have an opportunity to explain a board and card game to the audience, because I don't often get to do that. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, because it's Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. You don't need any reason for that. Blood Knights, because it looked very interesting from the outset, and it was a bit of an action RPG, which is a genre I do quite enjoy and a lot of PC gamers enjoy, so I wanted to see if it was any good. Turns out it wasn't. Yeah, that does not mean that I don't do a video on it. If I've invested hours into playing this game, I'm gonna do a video on it, because you don't just abandon that. Yeah? It's a complete waste of time. It's a really, really bad idea from a business standpoint. 6, 7, 8, 9. Adventure Park. I played it because I wanted to know if we finally had a good theme park clone. We didn't. Risk of Rain. Played it because I'd heard a lot of good things from Northern Lion about it, and I wanted to experiment with it. And I liked it a lot. And then Bioshock Burial at Sea, Episode 1. Yep. Which is actually really bad. I've done like 10 WTFs in a month. That's way lower than usual, but I was away for the vast majority of this, so it's to be expected. Yeah, Bioshock Burial at Sea because, hey, I didn't like Bioshock Infinite, and I wanted to see if the DLC was any better. And it kind of was in some ways, but not so great in others. There you go. There's the explanations for the last 10 WTFs. That's how my thought process worked. It's different for each one. Okay. Let us see what else we've got. Scrolling down the list. There we go. What's your opinion on the seeming unending train of money Star Citizen is getting? People really dig the concept. They want a AAA space game, and one of those does not exist. And they want something that will really test the PC to the absolute limit, and they want to fulfill their fantasy of flying around in a space universe that doesn't involve spreadsheets in the same way that EVE Online does, that actually has a real combat system. So it's a very attractive concept, and what they've shown so far indicates that they can actually make that happen. Also, the way they're doing a lot of their business stuff by giving you kind of exclusive ships and things, people want to get ahead, yeah? They want to get ahead very early on, so it's gotten a bit questionable, honestly. It seems like there's a potential huge amount of pay to win in that, so I'm hoping that that doesn't happen, and that these ships are actually well balanced, and that they're just really a jump start, and that that doesn't negatively affect people that didn't buy in early. It's a weird concept because it's kind of an MMO and also kind of not, So it's really hard to make a judgment. I think it's going to be something that we're just going to assess on its own merits. What got you into metal? Iron Maiden, mostly. And A Perfect Circle, actually. A Perfect Circle was actually the first metal band that I ever listened to. I know it's weird, isn't it? That was not a